What is going on, everyone? We are here. You guys know the drill. Every Sunday, we got a new artist. Sometimes I lean towards some rap artists, sometimes I lean towards some pop, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to my roots and it comes back to country artists.
Oh yeah,
And we're heading up to Canada today, and we're talking to Evan Farrell. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself? Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no, of course. Still a little chilly here. We are kind of just talking about that before we kick this off. The weather's hasn't been too kind to us here today.
Mother Nature is angry at us. I don't know what we did to piss her off, but she is angry.
No, exactly. And I mean, it's been crazy, especially in the summertime too, because it was hot, more the hot than normal. And then, I mean, now it's colder than normal here. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy stuff. But before we kind of get into the whole interview, why don't you just kind of let the people know a little bit about just who you are? Not even just artist wise, just kind of like where you're at, living and how old you are and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, my name is Evan Farrell. I'm 20 years old. I'm going to be 21 in a month, and I'm originally from California, but I've been in Canada. I was born in California, raised in Canada, and yeah, no, I mean, I live in a normal life until the world shut down, and then musicians in COVID have very little to do. So this room here has been my life for the last however long, and yeah, no, that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
fair. No, fair enough. And I mean, like I was kind of telling you before the interview started and everything is like when back in 2020 it was like when we kind of went in lockdown. That's when I really started this whole interview series and just that's had nothing else to do than just sit around in this room and kind of play
yeah.
around with some stuff. So
I mean, that's one. I mean, that's one kind of positive thing that came out of this whole thing is like people have time to do stuff that, try new things. Obviously, writers have a lot more time to write. Now we
exactly.
have less things to write about because you get your ideas from life experiences and all that stuff. But like, I mean, the extra time isn't a bad thing for writing or starting a new project or finding out something about yourself.
No, exactly. And I mean, it really gave me a lot of time to reflect on myself and stuff like that too. And then just to really sit down and write a lot of new songs and stuff like that. It's been crazy because then obviously I'm a big sports fan. A lot of people know that from me. And just kind of not having the sports because they were shutting down and stuff too, like had nothing a lot to do. And I think if I remember correctly, going through your Instagram page, you're a Leafs fan, unfortunately.
Massive Leafs fan, big Leafs fan and Jays fan. All right, I'd take that you're a big Bruins guy.
No, actually, believe it or not, much as I'm from Boston, my whole family diehard Bruins fans and everything, but I'm a diehard Capitals fan until the day I die.
Seriously, it's a
Yep, I
great
actually
baseball
have.
guy.
I don't know if you can't really see it, but I have an Alex Ovechkin holding the Stanley Cup from
Yeah.
2018 right there.
I can't wait for that guy to break Ovechkin or Gretzky's record. I
Yeah, I
didn't.
know. I mean, he still has. I mean, he signed a 5-year deal, so I mean, he still has
Exactly.
like 3 or 4 more years left on that. And I mean, he's only about what I think it's like 160, 180, something like that, somewhere in between there.
I didn't think he was going to do it, and I really didn't think it. And then he signed a 5-year deal, and I was like, "Oh, he's going for it. Okay, let's go, Ovi."
No,
Okay.
exactly. So I mean, hey, if he can break that record, I'm all for it. So I mean, I mean, shout out Wayne Gretzky. Obviously, he's a
Yeah.
goat, but I mean, just to see kind of Ovi break that would be really really cool.
Yeah.
So obviously sports love talking about that, but we're here to kind of talk about your story through music. And kind of getting into my first question, as everyone knows, I talk about the basic of basics, but where did music all start for you? Like obviously singing wise, was that at an early age? And then obviously you play guitar and stuff like that. So how did just everything like kind of come about for you?
I've always had country music growing up. I have like videos of when I was a kid and there's country music playing now in the background. And then when I was about 12 years old, I was coming home from a baseball tournament, and my buddy's dad was giving me a ride back, and it was like one of those 2 hour drives. Like we were way up somewhere,
Yeah.
and the whole 2 hours, I was that kid that would just sing on every song on the radio. I've always had a good thing with lyrics. Like I've always been able to remember lyrics. So I just sang every word, and this guy wanted to punch me in the throat, but you can't do that to a 12-year-old. So when I got home, he just basically told me and my mom, and he was like, "You got to get that kid a guitar. He knows too many country songs to not know 3 chords on a guitar and be able to play 50% of country songs." And I took his advice. I gave it a shot because I was like, "Hey, why not?" And the rest is history. Now we're here. The singing lessons came. I could not sing until I got like the lessons and everything.
Mhm.
But now we're where we're at. So
No, that's awesome. And I mean, like, I was listening to a lot of the covers that you do on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that. And I mean, I've just been a huge fan of yours since watching all those. And
yeah, thank
I always hate to compare people to like other people, but like at the end of the day, like I don't know if you've ever heard there's two guys right off the bat that like I hear in your voice. So I mean,
yeah.
we'll see if this is what if you get this a lot. I mean, I hear Scotty McCreery for sure,
There it is. I
and
get and
I Chris
Chris
Young.
Young. Yeah,
Yeah.
nailed it. I get those two all the time, man.
No,
I
I'll
get
tell you, just listening to a lot of your covers. I think there was I think you did a Morgan Wallen one that I just watched a little while ago. And I could hear Scotty in there. Like I just but I always like obviously you're you. And at the end of the day, like I dig your sound, I dig everything that you're doing. But like Chris Young and Scotty McCreery right off the bat, I could just hear those tones in there.
dude, I get that so often. I get that and I get Randy Travis a little bit
Okay.
too, a little bit of
Yep.
Josh Turner. Literally anybody with a semi-low register is like, "Oh, you sound like that guy."
Yeah.
Get that all the time. It's I honestly I like that. I mean, some people be like, "Oh, I'm not them, I'm me," but like on
No,
those are who I grew up with, and that's it. That's what that's a good list to be on if I'm on a
no,
list.
exactly. And there is not, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. But like I said, some people kind of like, no, I'm me. That's like, I'm not about that. But like, it's just, I mean, to be on that list is definitely something cool.
Yeah.
And obviously, kind of, I think we kind of vibe with the same type of country music is like that kind of like 90s, early 2000s, like a lot of that kind of country music is what was always playing in my household and stuff like that. Like my mom's always been a big country music lover, and I that's where I get a lot of my love for country music is just because of her and listening to that 24/7, like when she's cleaning the house and stuff when I was a kid, just blaring all that Travis Tritt, Garth Brooks, just Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, all of them.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's where it all comes from, man. Just listening to what your parents put on, kind of,
No,
and then
exactly.
fall in love with the stories and everything. And
Yeah,
once you,
no, and that's always been a big part of my stuff too, is like the storytelling behind country music is just like you can't beat some of the stories behind all the lyrics.
I find it grows on people too a lot. Like a lot of my friends who are like, "Oh, I hate country music. It's all about trucks, all about beers, all about girls." I actually have a song about that. It's on my next EP. But those people that are like, "Oh, I hate country music, all that stuff," and then they listen to it for like a month, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually really good."
Yeah.
Because it grows on you. It really does grow on you.
No, exactly. And I mean, I'm a lover of all kinds of music. I just sometimes I don't understand people that don't like you said, like country music because they think it's all about beers, trucks, and having a good time. But
No, I'm the same way. I don't understand people that are like, "I hate this type of music." Like it's any type of music. Like people who are like, I like all types of music too.
yeah,
I can pull inspiration from anywhere. I like rap because the lyrics in rap are in
right,
like some of the lyrics in rap are just next level and
exactly.
it's awesome. Like Pop's got some cool little vocal lines going. Like I just love music in general.
Exactly. No, and I'm the same way. And then you kind of just said the magic word, which is inspiration, because that kind of leads into my next question a little bit. And I mean, we kind of already threw some country artists out there, but obviously when you started singing and taking lessons and then kind of songwriting and stuff, but like who really inspires you like in the music industry to kind of pursue music? And then like even like family wise, did anyone like really like push you to kind of get into the music more?
Yeah, so I was the people who inspire me, man, it's just pretty much anybody. The first one comes to mind is obviously Scotty McCreery. I grew up when I was in like when I started taking singing like seriously. He was my idol, man. And I saw him on American Idol, and I loved all of his sound. I love his stuff. He just seems so relatable. He's got a cool tone, and I just like was all about. I'm still a massive Scotty McCreery fan, and I grew up with like Toby Keith and all that, and that's kind of what got me into it. But those are the people that really inspire me, and just good writers really inspire me. Like Mitchell Tenpenny is a really, really, really good writer,
Yeah,
and when you hear songs that have like a couple lines that make you go like, "Oh my God, like that's a great line," it makes you want to write more. It makes you want to find a line like that. And then like the personal life, my mom has been my biggest supporter ever since I started this. I was lucky enough that she hates her job, so she was supportive of me chasing a dream.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just been, my whole family has been really supportive with this whole thing. It's been really inspiring to see, especially when I was just first. I started in the business when I was 16. So when I was first starting out, I was just literally nobody. I was still in high school.
Yep.
I had to write music between my math homework. So it was pretty cool to see my family start to really support me and see where I can take this thing.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's awesome. I mean, because like when I first started songwriting and stuff, I was always writing and stuff in high school and stuff. I graduated in 2015, and then kind of in 2018 is like where things really took the massive leap because a lot of people know that's when my grandfather passed away unexpectedly, and a couple of months after that is when I really wrote that song for him that a lot of people know is "Back to When." And shout out to my brother Nathan Vasquez who recorded that, and we're hopefully going to get that out within the next couple of months. And it just, that's really when songwriting started coming around. And when I showed people that, like, hey, this is like what I'm doing now and this is what I love doing, a lot of my family, friends and stuff, they really supported me and just said, keep going, like you're doing a great job, and like this is something that I think you can really make successful. And now here I am with the interview series, and
Yeah.
30, 40 artists later, it's just, it's crazy, you know.
That's one of the massive perks of being in this business. Is just like whatever you're going through, you can write about it. You can turn something that really hurts you. Like I mean, I'm currently going through some sort of hell that I don't really want to get into, but we are. Um, but I've been lucky enough to have like my high school friends. I hang out with them, and that kind of takes my mind off of it for a little bit. But then I hang out with my music friends, and it's really cool to be able to talk to somebody about something, and then they say, okay, how can we put that into a song? Because that would be a good song. And then you all of a sudden you have this little 2.5 minute piece of music that's all about what you're going through, and it really helps you every time you hear it. And it's true, man. Music is healing, and we're in a great spot where whatever we're going through, we can write about it and we can heal from it. So
No, and that's awesome. And that kind of leads me in, obviously, to the next question is the whole creative process when it comes to writing a song, because I've interviewed obviously over 30 artists, and sometimes it's different for every artist. Like some people start with a melody, some people start with like a chorus and then build off of that, or some people start with like it doesn't matter how it goes. And I always have to quote one of my favorite quotes from this interview series is my buddy Garrett Walker. He always says is it's like a puzzle. You could have 500, 1,000 piece puzzle, just lay it all out, mix and matched. And by the time you end up putting all those pieces together, you have this masterpiece and you have this song and this story, and it just all clicks together. So, what is your creative process like when it comes to writing?
man, I am super, super go with the flow type thing where, if I'm really stuck on a line, I'll just leave it. Like I'll leave it, I'll come back to it later. Maybe I can use it in a different song if I'm stuck on an idea. I typically like to start with, a hook line, like a title line, or an idea, or just a general concept for like a story arc that the song could go through. But sometimes it's literally just like I read a bumper sticker and I'm like, oh, that could be turned into a song, and then we start going through it. Or like I hear someone say something on a TV and I'm like, oh, that could be a song. And I know I've been in so many co-writes because, like I said, I've been in the business since I was 16. So when I started out, I didn't know how to write.
Yeah.
So I had to just get in every single writing room I could possibly get in. So I've been in so many writing rooms with so many different writers, and what I've learned from it is just everybody has their own thing. Um, mine is Mine is very go with the flow. If we're stuck on a line in a co-write, I like to just talk about anything else. Oh, you see the Capitals game yesterday? See how it goes, and then we come back to it. I know some people that'll sit on that line for 2 hours trying to figure out what word goes where. Um, but no, mine is super go with the flow. I went over to my buddy's house last night. We were just writing, and we were writing. We were having some drinks and just kind of making music. And one of the songs we wrote, I had the idea and I had the first half of the song written, and he had a song that he wrote a while ago but never finished that was literally the exact same concept, like the exact same overall
Yep.
idea. So we made a Franken song. We wrote and then we stole like 3 lines from his other song that he was never going to finish, and we took the 2 songs that were half songs and we put them together. And that's just, there's so many ways to write music, and it's just so cool to see.
Exactly. No, that's just like right there. That's just magical. I mean, like you just can't get any better than that, because I know for me, for example, I have more notes with half songs in there that I know what to do with. And like I eventually sometimes they can click together and sometimes it's just really cool to see that whole process play out.
Yeah, especially those lines where you're like, where the hell am I ever going to use this? And then you're in a write one time, and someone's like, "Oh, we need this kind of line," and you're like, "Oh, I got it, I got it. I never thought I'd use this, but I
No,
got it."
exactly. There's like two or three words in there. You never think you'll use those in your entire life. And then all of a sudden, bam, one co-write, and you're like, I knew I
Bang
was
on.
saving those for one day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh no, but there's a lot of different artists out there. It doesn't matter what genre you're in, whether you're in country, whether you're in rap, pop. There's hundreds and hundreds of artists, and I think we kind of touched up on it earlier with the pandemic. It really gave a lot of artists time to kind of get themselves more exposure and kind of create more of a fan base and just get their music out there more. And obviously with country music, I'm a big country music guy, so I know a lot of under the radar country artists, like hundreds and thousands of them. But at the end of the day, this is always the hardest question I ask, and it's always one of my favorites is what would you say makes you you at the end of the day compared to all these other artists out there?
And what I want, what makes me me is like branding wise, what I've been trying to go for the past little while is I don't want anyone to look at me like always like say I make it massive. Let's say stars align, miracle happens. We're one of the biggest country artists ever. I don't want to see. Obviously, people would look at it like, oh, he's like massive superstar. But I also want to be like a Luke Combs type person where you just look and you're like, I want to have a beer with that guy. You know, like I want to be super relatable, just because that's kind of exactly who I am. Someone told me when I was first starting out, be who you are, and everyone will come to you and find your brand and all that stuff. And you can spend so much time kind of like making your brand, and then every time you post a picture, you go to a show, you have to put on this act that's your brand, that's who you are. And I tried that for a while, and I hated it because after the show, I was like, oh, that wasn't who I was at all. And so I
Right.
just kind of flipped everything around, and I was just going to be unapologetically who I was. You know, I love to have a nice little party. I love to. I'll crush beers with you all night, and then we can write songs and sing music after. And that's just who I am, and that's who I've kind of tried to warp my brand around into, and just be the guy that is super relatable and you know
No, right. And that, no, honestly, that's awesome because like you kind of know who you are and that's what you want to do. And you don't want to be anyone else. You're just trying to be you, have a good time, and you're just trying to relate a lot to those fans, which is awesome.
yeah, no, it's a lot of brands out there for like the massive guys are like they're famous because they're exclusive. You know, it's
Right.
like when these guys are massive, and there's like, oh, there's no way I'll ever be friends with him, so I'll look up to him. But I want to be the guy that's like, hey, if you're going through some stuff, I'll be right in that boat with you. You know, I'll try to write songs that connect with people on that level, and that can help people get through hard times, and or just help people start a party. You know, like
No, exactly.
I'm all about the people here.
No, and honestly, like I connect with that a lot because when I obviously we touched up on is when I wrote that song for my grandfather.
Mhm.
Like it just my goal was is obviously it helped me a lot, but at the end of the day is to play that for someone else. And kind of the story behind that is I was playing it for a family friend, probably about a year after I wrote that song, and he had never heard it. And
Right.
he's like, he didn't even know that I was writing or anything like that. Like it was all new. Like he had no idea. And he's a good family friend too. But so I play him the song, and his father had just passed away a couple weeks before that. And he was bawling his eyes out. And he's like, if I had heard that song when we were at the funeral and stuff like that, he said I would have had that playing as we were carrying him out of there. And then that just hit me different because that's what I want to do, whether it's something that can help you get through something or just a good time party song to vibe to and stuff like that. That's the kind of songwriting I connect to.
No, absolutely. It's all about connecting with people because I mean that's especially in country music. The difference between country music and like rap music or pop music is like rap music and pop music is all about I got this, I got the fast cars, I got the girls, and it's idolization. You want to be like that person. Country music is all about the common experience. It's you should listen to a song and think, yeah, I've been there too, and that's the whole appeal of country music is that like it's like that Toy Story song. You got a friend in me. That's country music right there. It's just you want to be able to listen to a country song and think like, yeah, man, I've been there too. And that's the difference between country music and anything else. Is it's for the people. you
No,
know.
exactly. And that's what I'm all about, honestly. Um, Kind of getting into the final question here before we hear a good tune by you is kind of what is your goals as an artist? Like I know you kind of touched up on it with like who you are as an artist and stuff, but like where do you want to go with your music and just what else can we expect from you down the road?
Ultimate goal, world domination. Let's take over this planet. No, it's ultimate goal would be living the dream would be world tour, waking up in a different city every day, playing to a crowd, and then honestly, this is I have a game plan here. If we get there, I got a bunch of my high school buddies who have been like my best friends, like without a doubt. And when we get together, we only talk about sports and stuff. So it's like ultimate goal. Let's travel the world. Let's wake up in a different city every day and play music. And then we get back on the bus and we're gonna have a little sports podcast going in there. And then it's basically just wake up, play music, talk with my buddies, and just live a life that makes us happy.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate goal.
Honestly, amen to that. I can't. I mean, I can't do any better than that. That sounds like a great because I'm literally in the same boat as you. All my buddies I'm still with from high school and stuff like that, and we're always talking about sports. We tried getting the sports podcast together, but kind of had its shambles. But we're still in the process of trying to figure all that stuff out. But like that's just right there is like that's my like envision. That's what I have in my head too, is doing all that stuff with my buddies and stuff like that. So it's just that's just awesome.
Yeah, no, it's seriously just being able to live a life that just makes you happy is really what everything's about. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it's that, whatever happens in life, you just got to be able to, if you can look back on your life and say, like, yeah, I did everything that makes me happy. I might not have made the most money. I may not have lived in the biggest house, but I had good people around me and I was living a happy life. You did it right, man. You did
Exactly.
it right.
No, exactly. And I mean, some people have asked me about this before too, is like, what if you didn't get in the songwriting? Like, what if none of this ever even happened? Like, what would you be doing? I'd be like 10, 15 years from now, I'd be kicking myself in the ass because I would regret it until the day I die. And always another good quote that I always live by is you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And I live and breathe by that quote all the time when it comes, especially when it comes to music and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I had the opposite of that where like, once when you get into the business when you're 16, you start writing, you start recording all that stuff. Um, what ends up happening is there's a lot of days, obviously like for any musician, there's a lot of days where you're just sitting there like, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? Why didn't I just, especially for a kid that I didn't go to school because I was chasing this dream. And especially for that, it's just you wake up some days and you're just like, what have I gotten myself into? Why shouldn't I just taken the safe route? But then Mr. Luke Combs came out with a song called it's called like I'd Be Doing This, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
And his whole thing is like people asked him in an interview one time, what would you be doing if you didn't hit it big? Because Luke Combs is massive, he's
Yeah.
huge. Um, and he just said I'd still be doing this. I'd still be on a bar stool making tips.
Mm-hmm.
And I I really connected with that song
Yeah.
personally. It's like looking forward. It's like sometimes you think, oh, what have I got myself into? Is this going to work for me? Where am I going to end up? But then it's like, no, wait, there's much worse things you could be doing than sitting on a bar stool playing your music for money. It may not be a lot of money, but that's got to be one of the best ways to make a little bit of money
Right.
sitting on a bar stool.
No, exactly. And that's just doing what you love and just playing songs, jamming out, and just engaging with the audience and just having a good time.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about songs and stuff like that. It's always my favorite part of the interview is hearing a song by you. I'll kind of let you take the floor. You can run this whole interview for the next minute or couple of minutes and let the people know what you're singing, what it's all about, and the floor's yours, man.
All right. Sweet. I'll play you my current single. I'm in the middle of. I start recording on my debut EP in a week. I'm pretty sure we start pre-production, so I'm really excited for that. But I can't play anything off of that because it's top secret for some reason. But I'll play you my current single. It's called "Out There Somewhere." I got to write it in Nashville with two guys named Daryl Scott and Jade Eagleson. And I don't know if you know either of them, but they're both awesome writers. Jade's an amazing artist. And I had the idea for this song when I was graduating high school and people were throwing their caps and people were shaking hands and diplomas were getting passed around. And I was just looking around like, Nobody knows where we're going to be in 5 years, 10 years. Nobody has any idea. But whatever's coming is out there somewhere. And the whole point is just whatever's coming for us is just kick back, relax, and enjoy the ride of life. And yeah, it's called Out There Somewhere. It's everywhere now if you want to hear it. Don't know when my dream car's gonna be sitting out in the drive. Don't know where I'm gonna be in 10 years. Yeah, but that's alright. Whatever's out there coming from me, well, I'll be sitting right here, sitting pretty, because it's coming as fast as it can. And only the good Lord knows my plans. But it could be around the corner, 10 years down the road. That's the thing about life, yeah, we just never know. Whatever we're out here looking to find, well, it's alright, yeah, it can take its time. Like that dream job, Homer girl could be anywhere. It's all out there somewhere. Don't know if my ride or die team's ever gonna bring it home again. Go Leafs! Don't know how great it's gonna be to tuck my babies in, but I can tell the future's gonna be a good one, and I'm gonna take it all in as it's coming, because it's coming as fast as it can, and only the good Lord knows my plans. But it could be around the corner, 10 years down the road. That's the thing about life, yeah, we just never know. Whatever we're out here looking to find, well, it's alright, yeah, it can take its time. Like that dream job, Homer girl could be anywhere. It's all out there somewhere. Yeah, they're out there somewhere. But I'm gonna fall along the way. I'm gonna make a few mistakes, but I won't let it tie me down. 'Cause it could be around the corner, 10 years down the road. That's the thing about life, yeah, we just never know. Whoa, whatever we're out here looking to find, it's alright, yeah, it can take its time. Like that dream job, Homer girl could be anywhere. It's all out there somewhere. Yeah, they're out there somewhere. Woohoo!
Awesome job, man.
Well,
That's
thank you.
just, I don't know if you saw me. I was singing along there. It was just, I was having a good time with that. That's just an awesome, awesome song.
Thank you, man. That song is song's one of my favorite I've ever written, and I'm really happy with the way it all turned out with the production and everything. So
No, exactly. And I mean, I'll go back to it real quick. And obviously, like I said, I mean, obviously, Scotty McCreery, I could just like, that's the vision I get from that song, and it's just cool. But like, obviously, your tone is just so different too, in its own way. And like, I can just tell that that's you, and it's an awesome song. And like, I've been listening to it ever since we were getting ready for this interview and stuff like that. And it's awesome.
thanks, man. I appreciate that a lot.
No, of course. So kind of before we wrap up here and I do my little outro like I normally do, just I know you have an Instagram, I know TikTok. What are all your handles? Where can people find you and all that fun stuff?
Everything is Evan Farrell music across the board. Farrell is 2 R's, 2 L's, Farrell, and it's Evan Farrell music on anything: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're everywhere.
Perfect. No, that's awesome. I mean, people definitely need to go check out that song. They need to go follow him, keep going through his story through music with him because he has a lot more to offer and just can't wait to see what else is coming, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot.
No, of course. And I just appreciate you taking the time to do this interview, talking about some good old country music, and hopefully maybe some point down the road, maybe we'll even be working together at some point.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. Thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun time just to be able to talk to somebody again.
No, exactly. No, and thank you again, man. So that kind of concludes this episode of the Spotlight series. Y'all know the drill is we're already up over 30 episodes. It's every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can check out a new interview, and I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.